Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. There we go. Get that ready to go. Yeah, close enough. All right. I'm a little behind this morning. Get things ready to go. Here for our second segment. 15 seconds, Adam. A happy National Librarians Day. If you're a librarian, you work for the CIA library. Six-figure job there. How cool would that be? What do they have in that library? And good Tuesday morning to you. It is Tuesday, April 16th, and it is 14 minutes past the top of the hour, 6:14 a.m. here at FM 104.5, AM 950 KAHI, voice of the foothills. And hey, good morning to you, Meadow Vista. Currently, it is, as soon as I can pull it up on my app here, 44 degrees right now, looking for a high today of 68 degrees. All right, let's turn it over as we do right now to the Fox Business Report.
And this is the Fox Business Report. Morgan Stanley is reporting an upbeat quarter helped by its
Whoops! That's when you kind of quickly go, I forgot to pull this up on my phone. And try and delay as much as you can. All right, I need to get music ready for the next announcement here. We're going to do Vivaldi's Four Seasons for a little spring. So we'll do that coming out of next commercial, Spring Festival, Lincoln Way, family-friendly event, Saturday, April 20th, 4 to 8 p.m. Aces baseball team hosts a cornhole tournament. Live music, food, vendors, craft,
you can host the best
kids play area, lots of good stuff.
You find a professional on Angie to make
I
your
need to text
backyard
Mary
the best
Jane
around.
that I'm not going to be here Friday, so maybe we chat on
Connect with skilled professionals
Thursday.
to get all your home
Do I have
projects
somebody
done
coming in
well.
on Thursday? I think I
Inside
do.
to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
You can see them at night,
And every day they steal from you.
any device with a
Digital display.
on light or sleep mode steals energy. They may only steal a little bit, but like drops of water in a bucket, it
Adds up and you pay.
Stop energy theft.
All right, here we go. Family-friendly event. Free entry for everyone. Saturday, April 20th, 4 to 8 p.m.
Done. Stop energy thieves and save. Brought to you by Pioneer Community Energy.
16 minutes past the top of the hour. It is 6:16 a.m. Oh, isn't that music so soothing? Isn't it just delightful to hear a little bit of nice classical and music in the morning, just kind of ease you into your day? Well, here's what you need to know about. To accompany this music, it feels like spring, and that means the Spring Festival is here in downtown Auburn on Lincoln Way this Saturday, April 20th from 4 to 8 p.m. This is a family-friendly event, free entry for everybody. You want to check this out. There's going to be, I'll tell you why. Adam, I'll tell them why. Hang on just a second. My goodness gracious. There's going to be live music. There's going to be food vendors. There's going to be craft vendors. There's going to be a kids play area. And do you like the cornhole? Do you like to watch it? I watched a professional cornhole tournament one time on ESPN. I don't know. There was nothing else, but the kids, we were flipping through the channels, and there was a cornhole tournament in Vegas. My goodness gracious. Every single one that these guys tossed was a ringer. It was unbelievable. Hey, if you want to watch it or participate in it, Aces baseball team is hosting a cornhole tournament. That's right. That's going to be this Saturday, the Spring Festival on Lincoln Way. It's going to be from 4 to 8 p.m. Check it out. Still going to be daylight out for most of that because it's getting lighter later, gang. So it means we get to be out later at night now. Live music, food vendors, craft vendors, kids play area. That's all happening this Saturday, April 20th, 4 to 8 p.m. Spring Festival on Lincoln Way, family-friendly event. Check it out. Back with more right after this.
Here's another KAHI Community Bulletin Board. Placer Independent Resource Services is currently seeking applications for Personal Assistant Registry. Their Personal Assistant Registry is a list of qualified individuals to be employed by people with
Henry
disabilities
Mancini
and provide a wide variety of personal services.
Henry
If you are interested in helping people with disabilities or older adults with personal care, cooking, cleaning, or driving, please contact Tim Cooper at Piers 530-885-6100 extension 31 or
We'll look for that later
at pirs.org to fill out an application to join the Registry of Qualified Assistants. Piers is a federal and state designated independent living center serving Placer, El Dorado, and Alpine counties. It is a non-residential, non-profit organization. The mission of Piers is to advocate, empower, and educate the community and provide services for people with disabilities, enabling them to control their alternatives for independent living.
18 minutes past the top of the hour, 6:18 a.m. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, sports ball. That's right. We'll have updates from the MLB and let you know when the Kings are playing again. Hint, it's tonight. Back to America's First News. I'll see you back here in just a little bit.
16th day of April. President Joe Biden urged the House of Representatives to immediately take up Senate-passed supplemental funding for you.
All right. Pink Panther. Henry Mancini or Moon River. My goodness gracious. Gotta have Pink Panther. Yes. Oh, you know what I could do? I could use this going to commercial. Yes. Okay. Use these today. Use it more. It's a shame that today's Meddlers. I mean, not a shame, but I'm not going to get to use it as much. But with Henry Mancini's birthday, I should use Henry Mancini stuff. Dang. Okay. Should have done that earlier. Oh, well.
We have terrorists and tyrants and terrible leaders around the world like Putin and Xi.
Okay. Off now to rehearse the news. And do we have all the sports ball lined up? I've got the baseball scores lined up. We've got softball here ready to go.
I will talk with Hakeem Jeffries.
Yep. Cool.
And I suspect that they will respect this process as well.
Okay, cool. All right.
If we put it on a rule, we will let the members with
let's go.
Everybody in the house.
Johnson told the Fox Business Network on
Sunday. We need to open the blinds this early in the morning? Are you kidding me right now?
Yes, I had a great visit with him at Mar-a-Lago on Friday, and he and I are 100% united on these big agenda items. And when you talk about aid to Ukraine, he's introduced the loan lease concept, which is a really important one that I think has a lot of consensus. As well as these other ideas, the Repo Act, which we've discussed, which is seizing the assets of corrupt Russian oligarchs to help pay for this resistance. I think these are ideas that I think can get consensus, and that's what we've been working through. We'll send our package, we'll put something together and send it to the Senate and get these obligations complete.
Johnson went to see Trump after Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene threatened to remove him from speakership. Greene, who claims the American people are behind her, expressed more outrage Monday. She told Republicans not to fund Ukraine.
This is such a scam, and people are so done with it. People care about actions. They're tired of Republicans going out and promising all these promises and saying how we're fighting for America, and then sending their hard-earned tax dollars. By the way, today's tax day, April 15th. Everyone's having to pay the IRS to fund this government that doesn't care about actually fixing the problems here at home. They just want to kick the can down the road.
Republican chair of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, Michael McCall, told CBS Republicans opposing aid to Ukraine are uneducated on foreign affairs.
That is a speaker determination. I will be speaking, talking to him this evening with other national security people and chairs. I talked to the our ambassador in Ukraine as well. She said the situation is dire. Kharkiv could implode any day now. That's 2 million people. And the power grid is under threat right now. If the power grid goes out in Ukraine altogether, we don't have time on our side here, Margaret. We have to get this done. I would implore, I need to educate my colleagues, they're all tied together.
Yeah.
I mean, Iran is selling this stuff to Russia. Guess who's buying Iran's energy? China.
Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell on Monday urged Republicans in the House to take up the already passed Senate bill. A movie Weapons Armor received the maximum sentence of 18 months in jail for involuntary manslaughter in the fatal shooting of a cinematographer by Alec Baldwin on a Western movie set, as authorities now turn their focus on prosecution of Baldwin. New Mexico Judge Mary Summer on Monday found that Hannah Gutierrez Reed's recklessness amounted to a serious violent offense, while noting few indications of genuine remorse in the death of Helena Hutchins. Gutierrez-Reed said she tried to do her best on the set, despite not having proper time, resources, and staffing, and that she wasn't the monster people made her out to be.
And while you've heard her concerns about how she'll never work again as an armorer leading up to the trial, have her concerns changed? No. Here's what she says. This whole thing has been a character attack on her. Just recently, in her allocution, I'm not a monster. And what does... where is it done? They talk about how much of Hannah, on the phone, she and another are talking about how much of Hannah's life that they could take up, and that this is messing up her modeling career. This is while she's incarcerated, waiting for a sentence. And what does she say about the death of Helena? Hannah is dismissive of the judge talking about someone dying as a result of her actions. Hannah says she's looking at 13 months, which is ridiculous over what happened. Hannah says that people have accidents and people die. It's an unfortunate part of life, but it doesn't mean she should be in jail. A conditional discharge is not appropriate. And the second option of leaving you in the detention center would be giving you a pass you do not deserve. I did not hear you take accountability in your allocution. You said you were sorry. You were sorry, but not you were sorry for what you did. You were sorry for it and hope they can find peace. It was your attorney that had to tell the court that you were remorseful. The word remorse, a deep regret coming from a sense of guilt for past wrongs. That's not you. Your hereby sentence as follows stand. I am sentencing you to 18 months of incarceration at a New Mexico Women's Correctional Facility.
Attention now turns to Baldwin's upcoming trial on a charge of involuntary manslaughter. He's pleaded not guilty. He says he pulled back the hammer of the gun, but not the trigger when it fired. Harris Hilton joined California state lawmakers Monday to push for legislation aimed at cracking down on the industry that cares for troubled teens by requiring more transparency from youth treatment facilities. The bipartisan bill, supported by the Hilton Hotel heiress and media personality, aims to pry open information on how short-term residential facilities for youth dealing with substance abuse and behavioral issues use disciplinary methods, such as restraints or seclusion against minors.
I know firsthand the horrors that happen behind the closed doors of youth residential treatment facilities. I know the feeling of helplessness, the despair of being trapped in a system that thrives on secrecy and exploitation. It's a nightmare that no child should ever have to endure. If I tried to tell my parents about the abuse, the staff would immediately rip the phone from my hand, disconnect the call, and subject me to violent physical restraints and solitary confinement. The sounds of my peers screaming as they were restrained and injected with sedatives will never leave me. It's hard to imagine that this still happens today in the USA, but it does, and we could not ignore it. I've been successful in spite of the abuse I endured, but most children are not that lucky. The Accountability and Children's Treatment Act increases transparency so the public knows what truly happens behind closed doors. If these facilities are scared of a simple transparency measure, then I think we should ask them, what do they have to hide? If you are abusing children, I will find out, I will find you, and I will come with my huge spotlight and shine it on wherever you are.
The bill would require youth treatment centers to notify parents at the state anytime they use restraints or seclusion rooms. It's authored by Republicans and Democrats and passed committee with bipartisan support on Monday. Hilton has become a prominent advocate for more oversight and regulation of teen treatment centers and for publicly sharing the physical and mental abuse she suffered. For nearly 3 weeks since Baltimore's Francis Scott Key Bridge collapsed under the impact of a wayward cargo ship, crews are using the largest crane on the eastern seaboard to haul the wreckage to a nearby salvage yard. The heaviest section so far weighed 450 tons. In the salvage yard Monday morning, workers disassembled the metal trusses with propane torches and a pair of giant shears to make them into more manageable sizes. And coming up, we'll have the latest on the criminal probe into the crash as the FBI is now involved. America's First News.
Now, time for another Otis advisory. Fun burglars, they're in charge, and the big shakedown is in high gear. When the gum stuck under your desk looks better than what's left on the shelf at the store, you have landed in the new American.
Sports ball. All right, here we go. Weather, we shopping out, and also I need to get up my text messages here.
Fun burglars, they like it when you're
Kings versus Golden State pregame 6:30 here on KAHI.
No more Halloween.
All right.
No orange of
That's
any
happening.
kind anywhere in the building. Ever. Got it? No Christmas either. And if your house is infested with men,
Loomis.
they're going to need to tone it down and change into pajamas while they get over the insult of turkey bacon. So if you're one of those who still cut your own grass, you understand all this. Remember, socialism is what happens.
After a week of rainouts and postponements, the Sierra Foothill League softball play kicked back into gear Tuesday in Loomis as Del Oro hosted Whitney. Fans were treated to plenty of firepower with both teams combining for 7 home runs as the Wildcats won 11-4.
Pick up all the hidden messages in this stupid bit.
Flint's 3 home runs elevate Whitney over bombs away. Flint's 3 home runs. Ooh, shoot. And good Tuesday morning to you. It is Tuesday, April 16th, and it is 30 minutes past the top of the hour, 6:30 a.m. here at FM 104.5, AM 950 KAHI, voice of the foothills. And hey, good morning to you, Loomis. Currently, it is 48 degrees where you're at right now, looking for a high today of 74 degrees. Holy smokes, there is the sports ball music. Let's get right into it. We're going to start with the MLB. Regular season of the NBA is over. We'll talk about that here in just a second. But let's start with Giants versus the Marlins. Giants win that one 4-3. Tigers versus the Rangers. Rangers win that one 1-0. Angels versus the Tampa Bay Rays. Angels win that one 7-3. A's versus St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinals win that one 3-1. D-backs versus the Cubs. Cubs on top there 3-2. Braves versus the Astros. Braves win that one 6-1. Padres versus the Brewers. Padres win that one 7-3. All right, gang, let's talk about it tonight. Play-in game, Kings versus the Golden State Warriors. That is going to be tonight. Kings versus the Warriors. Pregame is at 6:30 p.m. here on KAHI. So catch all of the action. Kings versus the Warriors as we're heading into the postseason tonight. Pregame starting here at 6:30 p.m. on KAHI. Check it out. Oh, my goodness, it's going to be a good game. We'll see who comes on top. Producer Adam, get the beam ready just in case. Let's hope we can light that beam tomorrow. All right, let's go over here. Local sports here. We're looking at the Auburn Journal. Bombs away. Flint's 3 home runs elevate Whitney over Del Oro. This is from the Auburn Journal. A week after a week of rainouts and postponements, Sierra Foothill League softball, reading is hard, play kicked back into gear Tuesday in Loomis as Del Oro hosted Whitney. Fans were treated to plenty of firepower with both teams combining for 7 home runs as the Wildcats won 11-4. 3 home runs belonged to Whitney catcher Maya Flint, who racked up 7 RBIs in the first 4 innings to help elevate the Wildcats. Flint, who will play at South Carolina next season, said she was not happy with her performance in her previous game against Rockland and said she made amends on Tuesday. My goodness, what a game as we're looking at local play going on here. We'll keep you up to date with national, local sports, all that good stuff as we continue on through the week here in KAHI. We'll pause now. We'll be back with your KAHI weather right after this.
Does your electricity bill shock you? Trim that bill.
You never know how to get out of the sports. Never know. It's fine. All right, Timmy meteorologist, Tim Root, you're up. Almost.
Take a bite out of your electricity bill. Check your rate plan today. This money-saving tip
Brought to you by Pioneer.
Community Energy.
Tuesday weather forecast and mostly sunny skies. A nice day today around
All right.
70 and the light southwest winds. Temperatures tonight will be around 50, mostly clear skies. Light winds will continue. Low 70s with sunshine, a few scattered clouds Wednesday. And mostly sunny Thursday and Friday. They'll stay about 70 to 75 each day, along with that spring sunshine continuing. This is meteorologist Tim Rick from FM 104.5, AM 950, KAHI.
33 minutes past the top of the hour on this Henry Mancini's birthday, playing some of the hits. This is from the Pink Panther. Oh my goodness gracious. My grandma had a Henry Mancini album when I was growing up. It had Pink Panther on it. It had the cartoon on it. And I always thought I loved it because it was a cartoon as a little kid, but then I thought, ooh, this is like music from the cartoons. Happy birthday, Henry Mancini, born on this day in 1924. If it is your birthday today, happy stinking birthday to you. I hope you have a fantastic day today. We're just going to be playing some Henry Mancini hits as we go through the day because why? They're fantastic. All right, back now to America's First News. I'll see you back here in a little bit with your California Ag Report after this. See you back in just a bit. Playing some Henry Mancini. All right, what's up next? Let's do Moon River. Ooh, Peter Gunn. Oh, that's a good one. That's good. I just want to listen to that. Where can I play this? I want to play that later. Let's do Charade. Ooh, Charade. Oh, Charade. Oh, Charade. That's a good one. Okay. And coming up next, we have 5 minutes for our next thing. And we have to do traffic report. So let's talk about, all right, I need to actually get the Ariel Jean band up here. And then we'll go back to Henry Mancini after that. Here we go. Okay, so we'll have that. We'll talk about the Blue Jean Bonanza by the Seroptimist. I think I said sophomorist last year or yesterday again. So we got 5 minutes, then back to America's First News because it's a little bit different because we've got the Meddlers meeting today at 7 a.m. So a little less talking today, which is good because I've got a lot of talking I've got to do for work today. Other work, next job. So that's good. Okay, off now to record the first part of the news. Back after this.
Test 1, 2. Here we go. And here's your KAHI news for Tuesday, April 16th. I'm Chris Quan. Placer County Superior Court continues to seek volunteers for grand jury service. This is a press release from the Superior Court of California. The Superior Court of California, County of Placer, continues to seek volunteers to serve on the 2024-2025 Placer County Grand Jury. The court encourages applications from all citizens to enable the grand jury to represent a broad cross-section of the Placer County community. The one-year term for successful applicants begins on July 1st, 2024, and ends on June 30th, 2025. The grand jury's primary function is to examine governments within Placer County, inclusive of the county government, city governments, and special districts, to ensure What should I do if I get bitten by a rattlesnake? Well, first off, stay calm to slow the spread of venom. Try to remember the color and shape of the snake for later treatment. Dial 911 and seek medical attention as soon as possible. Now, if you can't get to the hospital right away, lay or sit down with the bite below the level of your heart. Then wash the wound with warm, soapy water and cover it with clean, dry material. Here's what not to do, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Do not pick up the snake or try to trap it. Do not apply a tourniquet. Do not slash the wound with a knife. Do not suck out the venom. Do not apply ice or soak the wound in water. Do not drink alcohol and don't drink caffeine. Now, what if my dog gets bitten? Well, take your dog to a veterinarian as soon as possible. Rattlesnake bite symptoms include puncture wounds, swelling, bleeding, pain, agitation, or depression. Pain, agitation, or depression, according to UC Davis. If your dog gets bitten in a remote location where a vet may not be nearby, be sure to rinse the wound and reduce blood flow to the area. Back with more news after this. Tuesday, April 16th, I'm Chris Quan. Placer County Superior Court continues to seek volunteers for grand jury service. This is a jury service. This is a press release from the Superior Court of California. The Superior Court of California County of Placer continues to seek volunteers to serve on the 2024-2025 Placer County Grand Jury. The court encourages applications from all citizens to enable the grand jury to represent a broad cross-section of the Placer County communities. The one-year term for successful applicants begins on July 1st, 2024, and ends on June 30th, 2025. Inclusive of the county government, city government, and special districts to ensure that public agencies are conducting business in an appropriate and efficient manner. To serve on the grand jury, you must be a Placer County resident over the age of 18. Service on the grand jury requires a substantial investment of time, usually 40 to 50 hours per month. Members of the grand jury receive a small stipend for their work. For more information about the Placer County grand jury, including how to apply, please visit placer.ca.gov/general-information/grand-jury. The application deadline is Friday, May 3rd. And here's what to do and not to do with a rattlesnake. Now here's what to do and not to do if a rattlesnake bites you on a California hike. This is from the Sacramento Bee. As the weather warms up, more people are venturing outdoors across California for walks, hikes, and camping trips. And here's what you need to know. Here's what you need to know today. Here's what you need to know. Here's what you need to know to stay safe during rattlesnake season. What should I do if I get bitten by a rattlesnake? Well, first off, stay calm to slow the spread of venom.
Okay.
real peace about having enough money to live the retirement years
There we
that
go.
you imagine. This is Wayne Fireball.
10 seconds, Adam.
LibrarianMoney.com for tips on setting and reaching your financial goals.
And good Tuesday morning to you. It is Tuesday, April 16th, and it is 15 minutes to the top of the hour. It is 6:45 a.m. here at FM 104.5, AM 950 KAHI, voice of the foothills. And hey, good morning to you, Placerville. Currently, it is 44 degrees where you're at right now, looking for a high today of 68 degrees. All right, we've got the music playing. It is pumping. Here we go. It is the Blue Jean Bonanza happening this Saturday, April 20th at the Gold Country Fairgrounds in the Sierra Building, 5 p.m., $75 a ticket. Chris, whoa, 75 a ticket? What the heck are you talking about? I'm talking about the Blue Jean Bonanza. I kind of hear it's the unofficial kickoff to the rodeo. We'll talk about that a little bit later. The Blue Jean Bonanza is for the Soroptimist International of Auburn, 75 years of supporting Auburn women. That's right. You can find out more information at SOROPauburn.org. Now, who's this band playing in the background here? Well, that's the Ariel Jean Band. You're going to hear that at the Blue Jean Bonanza. Really cool song. I'm really liking this one. There's also going to be a no-host bar. There's going to be auction, free parking, barbecue dinner. What more could you ask for? Blue Jean Bonanza this Saturday, April 20th, Gold Country Fairgrounds in the Sierra Building, 5 o'clock, $75 a ticket. Forming for the Soroptimist International of Auburn. I'm just waiting for the hook here. Here we go. We're waiting for the build-up here. Come on. Some good music right there. You can find out more information at SOROPauburn.org, or you can find them on Facebook at Soroptimist International of Auburn. It's the Blue Jean Bonanza, again, this Saturday, April 20th, Gold Country Fairgrounds, Sierra Building, 5 p.m., $75 a ticket. Tickets available at SOROPauburn.org. Back with your California Ag Report right after this. And we go right into the hearts of space, Robo. It's like do 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 do. Oh, well.
Voice of the foothills.
All right, California Ag Report. I'm Haley Ship. I'm going to enunciate everything, which is probably a cue that I should take. I always say that often, but 231. Oh.
With California Ag Today, I am Haley Ship. This is
All right.
the Ag Information Network.
We're going to be close.
Fan of wine, California agriculture,
Ooh.
and celebrating
Henry
women.
Mancini back up here.
Earth
Henry,
TV
come back.
is our channel of choice tonight. Episode 5 of their highly acclaimed series, Farm Her.
As time
is
goes
titled
by.
Hope Family Wives. And
Spoon River. I don't know if I'm going to have time for this. All right, we'll do that. Maybe I can cut into this a little early to
so sit back
shout
and
out
relax and enjoy the
Mr. Mancini,
Farm Her
having his
viewers.
birthday. Born on this day in 1924, died in 1994.
But a note that is Eastern. It'll air again on Friday evening as well as Saturday morning.
Central Coast growers know just how much damage aphids can do to leafy veg, cole, and brassica crops. But Versus insecticide from BASF makes all visible aphids disappear thanks to a unique, single, and targeted mode of action. Let's get the aphids' response to this simple, effective solution.
Hello,
Taking
aphids.
calls now to hear from those.
I get it, because they're not there.
Oh, anyone? Making aphids disappear from leafy vegetable easy with Versus insecticide. Always read and follow label directions. Cultiva.com for more information.
On the Ag Information Network, I am Haley Ship.
15 minutes or 50. What are we at? 10 minutes to the top of the hour. There we go. 6:50 a.m. I'll get it out here eventually. Hey, celebrating Henry Mancini's birthday today. Theme from Moon River here from Breakfast at Tiffany's. Back to America's First News. I'll see you back at the top of the hour with the members meeting.
Worshippers watched online and sparked a riot was an act of terrorism. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese.
Last night,
That's what I get for going out of my lane. But hey, we're having fun. Okay.
A bishop at Cross the Good Shepherd Church in Wakeley.
We're going to have the members meeting, get that up and ready to go. Back now to editing the news.
There is no place
Back in just a bit.
extremism. We are a peace-loving nation. This is a time to unite, not divide as a community and as a country. Last night, the New South Wales Police overnight declared this a terror incident and have stood up to strike force Katrina.
Officials said a crowd of hundreds seeking revenge gathered outside the Orthodox Assyrian Church, hurling bricks and bottles, injuring police officers and preventing them from taking the teen outside.
This is a major and serious criminal investigation. It is crucial that New South Wales Police are able to devote their resources and intelligence, as well as officers, to the investigation of this crime. I want to make something very, very clear. There is no such thing in Australia in taking the law into your own hands. It doesn't exist.
More than 100 police reinforcements arrived before the teen was taken from the church in the hours-long incident. Several police vehicles were damaged. The alleged terror attack came as Australians were still in shock after a person stabbed 6 people to death in a Sydney shopping mall on Saturday and injured more than a dozen others. Police have ruled out terror or ideology.
40-year-old man from Queensland, Joel Couchy, has been identified as the offender in this matter. We are continuing to work through the profiling of the offender, but very clearly to us at this stage it would appear that this is related to the mental health of the individual involved. We have 6 victims deceased, 5 women and 1 man, and of course the offender. We have a number of people remaining in hospital being treated for their injuries. We know many are in a serious and stable condition. In particular, a young child remains in a serious but stable condition.
Officials praised Inspector Amy Scott, the first responder on the scene who shot and killed Couchy and has since been widely lauded as a hero. China is helping Russia undertake its biggest military expansion since the Soviet times, ramping up sales of machine tools, microelectronics, and other technology that Moscow was using to produce weaponry for its war against the Ukraine. That's according to a U.S. assessment that officials hope will encourage European allies to press China as G7 foreign ministers meet in Italy. It comes after President Joe Biden reportedly warned President Xi Jinping to stop helping Russia. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre tiptoed around the subject Monday.
I'm not going to get into diplomatic conversations. We had a readout of that call that he had about 10 days ago with President Xi. It was an important call. It was a continuation of their summit that they had in San Francisco a couple of months ago. And so I'm just not going to get ahead of or go into details about private conversation. I think the president and we have been very clear.
Okay, so the U.S. has announced some sanctions and an executive order to address the support that China has given Russia in those months between the summit and now, but also said we are prepared to take further steps. So is the administration going to do more to deter Beijing?
So look, the president is certainly he's going to underscore the concerns, right, that he has to China. I'm just going to be super careful about what was said between the two leaders.
The U.S. has repeatedly warned China against supporting Russia, and both Chinese and U.S. officials say Beijing has stopped short of directly providing weapons to Russia, which has turned to heavily sanctioned North Korea and Iran to replenish its arms supply. China's economy expanded at a faster than expected pace in the first 3 months of the year, helped by policies aimed at stimulating growth and stronger demand. The world's second largest economy Tuesday reported it expanded at 5.3% in January to March, beating forecasts of about 4.8%. Compared to the previous quarter, it grew at 1.6%. China's economy has struggled to bounce back from the COVID-19 pandemic, with a slowdown in demand and property crisis weighing on its growth. The better than expected data came days after China reported exports sank 7.5% in March compared to the year prior, while imports also weakened. Asian shares, meanwhile, skidded following the slump on Wall Street after higher yields in the U.S. bond market cranked up pressure on stocks. A stream of reports this year has shown both inflation and the economy remain hotter than expected, forcing traders to scale back forecasts for how many times the Fed Reserve may cut its main interest rate. Fed Reserve Bank of San Francisco President Mary Daly.
The news of the week has been the CPI report, but it's a really good time for me to remind everyone here that the Federal Reserve and policymakers are not data point dependent, we're data dependent. And so we're looking at the whole dashboard of indicators that come in, not just the most recent reading on a particular series. When I look back and think back at the year so far, what I see is a strong labor market, a robust consumer spending pattern, good growth, and inflation that's not falling at a rapid pace like it was the second half of last year. And what that does is it says there's absolutely, in my mind, no urgency to adjust the policy rate. Policy's in a good place right now, and I need to be fully confident that inflation is on track to come down to 2%, which is our definition of price stability, before we would consider a rate cut. So what we will do by the end of the year, I think really at the moment is less relevant than what are we going to do in response to this incoming information. And I'm going to reiterate 3 things that are important. The economy is in a good place. The policy rate's in a good place. And there's a lot of work to do before we can be confident that we have price stability. Those 3 things and thinking about that.
All right. We'll see if this works. Turn off the camera because they don't need to see me. It's always like, come on, let me in. Let me into the Zoom meeting. Come on now. You can do it. Hopefully somebody's watching the computer. There we go. Hoping. Signed Reliant. Do they just
98
have it muted there? How come I'm not getting any sound? So you go to the view mode and you can see, oh, Cindy's remote today. So that means her audio will be good. Okay, switch to speaker mode. Ooh, Daniel moved this microphone over there. Nice. Now he just remembers to unmute. Daniel, unmute. Not sure why it's highlighting Kathy Baxter. Okay, nothing from the meddlers meeting yet. Hopefully, we will have something here. I guess we'll see. That's when I start to get. Oh shoot, we got a lot of files. Let's see. Big Mountain is 0045. Oh,
Great. Good morning, everybody.
There we
Small
go.
crowd this morning, but you want to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Chief, you want to lead us?
Yes, I would love to. Do you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Well, good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. I always feel like this new setup is kind of awkward in this kind of, stadium seating. With the number of people we have, we probably could do a circle without a problem. But anyways, Terry, you got, actually, since Mike Holmes is not here, we don't have anybody hit the normal greeter and words of wisdom. But Terry Cooney's joining us this morning. And Terry, I hear you have an announcement.
Oh. 1 month from today, on May the 16th, which will be a Thursday, the Auburn Rotary Club will be celebrating our 100th anniversary here in Ohio.
Oh, wow.
To give you a sense of that, when Auburn Rotary formed, Auburn had a population of 2,300 people and was extremely proud of their 8 miles of paved road. Calvin Coolidge was the president of the United States. Since then, we've enacted a pledge to the flag and a national anthem. The Rotary Club and its members have been extremely involved in Auburn during all of 100 years. Currently, we're giving another $27,000 for scholarships. We've given over $250,000 in scholarships to high school students. We've developed Ashford Park. We've developed the Auburn Library Park Theater. We've given back many things. The people in the club have been instrumental.
100 years, Auburn Rotary.
We would invite all of you.
Calvin Coolidge was the president when it started. It's amazing.
At the Gold Hill Gardens. And you can contact Steve Galliard for all the details. Okay.
All right. Thank you, sir. Any questions? Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
We helped out with the Carnegie Library in the past. We do multiple things in the city on a weekly basis. We keep a little profile of it.
Thanks, Terry. So May 16th, Gold Hill Gardens. Steve will be back next Tuesday if you want more information as well. So, all right. Any other announcements this morning? Again, this is very awkward with 10 of you and us sitting up here. But anyway, and so he's behind and Earl. Earl, I can't even see you. You're hiding back there. Good morning. I think Cindy is joining us virtually this morning, so we'll go ahead and start with you. Good morning, Supervisor.
Everyone, sir.
Phil Mercer. One of Copenhagen's oldest buildings,
3 minutes past the top of the hour here at FM 104.5, AM 950 KAHI, voice of the Foothills 703. We're going to go ahead and cut into the national news now to head over to the Auburn Meddlers meeting, as we do every Tuesday during the 7 o'clock hour. We're going to get updates now from Placer County District 5 Supervisor Cindy Gustafson. Let's go ahead and listen in now.
We approved a proclamation establishing April 2024 as Donate Life Month in Placer County. And thus the colors that you see on the dome at the courthouse, the blue and green.
That's what that is. Blue and green on the courthouse. That makes sense.
Programs from Gloria Stearns.
Okay, we need to put in a commercial here.
0045. Sustainable agricultural
because I'm not going to play it there.
Conservation, or acronym is SELF, planning grant. And so they are going out to an
60
RFP
seconds
right
right
now
there.
to hire a consultant and start working on agricultural land use planning, housing, transit, tourism, and marketing, especially to sustain our agricultural communities. And then
Okay,
also
there we go.
she reported on the Placer Tahoe Film Office that had in 2023
It's always fun to listen to these.
$5.5 million.
I didn't think it would be fun to hear about local government, but apparently I'm at the age now where hearing about local government is interesting.
Room nights
I don't know why.
and commercials that actually aired on the Super Bowl and the Grammys were filmed here in Placer County. A lot of the work she mentioned is in the commercial business, especially for
Okay.
all-terrain vehicles and all kinds of sporting
Who's speaking
equipment,
today?
being the highest
Today is the
area
16th.
of commercials.
Guest speaker
And then
is
we
Chief
also
Estes.
had Barry Broom from GSEC,
Cal Fire.
the Greater Sacramento Economic Council,
Chief of Placer County.
give us a report on their Germany market visit, which included visiting with Bosch as they look to set up their programs in Western County. But they had 24 meetings in 5 days across 5 German cities. And we had our economic development people as well as Supervisor Bonnie Gore attended these sessions. And they have a lot of interest from many of the German companies that support Bosch in looking at having operations here in the Sacramento area. And so much so, they're very interested in what we're doing with Sac State and Sierra College and workforce training in our region to support their technologies. But they're also talking about they've received a conditional commitment on starting direct flights from Sacramento Airport to Frankfurt.
What?
And that would
Direct
start
flights?
in 25-26.
Whoa.
So pretty exciting times to see that economic development in Western County and how that could impact the entire region. We also received a report from the PCTPA, the Placer County Transportation Planning Agency, and they reviewed the expenditure plan of if a potential sales tax passes in November between Lincoln, Roseville, and Rockland, how those funds would be spent. And so we approved that expenditure plan. And we also received the report from Matt Click with PCTPA that if we don't raise more local matching money, we really won't get state transportation dollars. And he gave us the stats that over 2/3 of the funding that you need to do some of these significant projects has to be raised locally. The state is a very small funder of a lot of the projects. So we wish them the best. We still need to work on what we're going to do, especially on our section.
Good librarian dad jokes.
And Highway
That's
49 to reduce congestion.
Super solid.
And to that
Thank you.
note, last week I did meet with the acting
Sarah Tops.
director for District 3, and I'm going to garble his last name. Somebody there might be
Don't
able to know
overdo
better.
it.
Sergio
That's good.
Akives.
Ooh, these are
Akives.
solid.
And Director Akives
Great dad
was
jokes.
willing to meet with myself, the
National
county
Librarian
CEO,
Day. Oh my
and
gosh, those
our
are
Department
amazing.
of Public Works.
Thank you.
We had a good hour-long sit-down and
Have
discussion
the best
of
listeners.
the traffic issues in District 5 in particular. And one of the key concerns that we raised, obviously, in addition, whoops, I don't know what happened to my camera there. Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can still hear you.
Okay, sorry. I'll try to get that going again. I must have hit a button.
Technology.
And in addition to Highway 49 and the congestion, we talked quite a bit about the forest fuels, the density of forest fuels along the I-80 corridor, and the fact that they have reduced the amount of acres that they're going to be treating. You know, we lobbied heavily that they get some funding to deal with the corridor because of the tremendous number of truck fires that we have in the Alta Dutch Flat area as the semis come down the hill. And unfortunately, they've reduced that project from 450 acres down to about 147 acres. So significant concern, especially for the communities of Dutch Flat and Alta and Gold Run that feel very vulnerable to the number of truck fires that we see. And I'm sure Chief Estes can talk a bit about that a little later. But that was a good meeting, and we felt we made progress. He's very interested. He comes from headquarters. He used to be in District 3. He went to headquarters to run operations for the entire state of California, very familiar with our snow removal needs as well as maintenance needs. So looking forward to working with him, and was very pleased that he took the time out of his schedule to meet with us. I think also at the board meeting, I wanted to report, we did set up the Sunset Area Enhanced Infrastructure Financing District. And that's, the acronym for that is EIFD. The EIFD allows us to collect a increment of the taxes, new taxes generated in the Sunset area to address issues like transportation and housing. So we're putting that into action out in that area. The board authorized a contract to form that district. So looking forward to having that be a sustainable funding source to get some of the public improvements out of the new development that we would like to see. And also last week, I attended a great event with the elections department at Colfax High School. They had a government and elections day, and so we did a great job of presenting to the group, to the
Believe
students.
in yourself.
They had elections department, myself as an elected
That's good.
official, and then they had.
Why did the librarian get fired?
Republican
He was
Party
always
and the
checked
Democratic
out.
Party to talk to the
Librarians
high
get
school
lit.
students.
I don't know if I
And
can
let me
use that
tell
word.
you, they don't pull any punches.
Maybe.
They ask really good, tough questions, and we're
A
very
book fell
engaged.
on the
So
librarian's
that's
head.
like
She
my
only had her
slide, and I
shelf
think
to
we're
blame.
still
That's a good one.
working to see if we can get
Oh,
in
this is going to be an extended dad jokes.
looking
I
forward
asked the
to that.
librarian if she
And then,
if she knew the
Saturday, I
author of a
attended the
dinosaur
Christian
book. She
Valley
said
Wildfire Preparedness
Triceratops.
Day, put on by the North Auburn /
Triceratops.
Ophir Fire State
Triceratops.
Council.
She said
Even though it was pouring rain, we
Triceratops.
had a great turnout and a lot of good information, a lot of
A man goes into a library
various
and asks for a book on
exhibits and
cliffhangers. The
booths
librarian
for people to
says,
learn how to better protect their homes and what resources are available to them. That was a great event, and Chief Justice was there too. I'm sure he can tell you about that. And then finally, I wanted to give you the updates on the mobile temporary shelter. The March
these are great.
impact report.
See if
they
I can
started
get 'em
giving
all-
us monthly impact
get them
reports.
all there.
The average occupancy was
Okay.
94%, and we had
A minute till we go to
members who
commercial.
received
Gotta make sure I hit those
housing
commercials.
In the month of March, there were
And then
369 case management meetings with the individual's house there, 25 housing counseling sessions held, and 39 classes and support groups offered
a
to
minute
those
plus
at
4
the mobile
seconds
temporary
for
shelter.
a short
And then our
FM
stats as
and
of
AM
yesterday,
liner. This way.
49 of the 51 program tents were occupied, and all of the homeless liaison law enforcement tents were available. We also launched last week, the Sheriff's Office announced the official launch of the opioid response team with Sergeant Stokes and Detective Craven. This team is one of the first opioid-focused teams in the state of California and will
13 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:13 a.m. here at FM 104.5, AM 950 KAHI, voice of the foothills. If you're just joining us, we're doing what we do on Tuesdays during the 7 o'clock hour. We're listening into the Auburn Meddlers meeting. We're hearing updates from Placer County Supervisor Cindy Gustafson. We're going to pause right now to show some love to our sponsors. We will be right back right after this.
Home insurance.
It's not in for everybody. But no, thank you for. I did look, but I also see we have a virus on the TV. This setup is hard. I'm gonna have to move that TV too in a minute. Right. Any other questions for Cindy this morning? All right, now Cindy, thank you very much. There you go. We can see you now, but thank you for your report.
It's not the integrated camera. It's too dark here. Anyway, here I am.
All right, thank you, Cindy.
Thank
With
you.
that, let's go ahead and move over to the city of Auburn. This morning we are joined by Jonathan Wright, the city's economic director. So, Jonathan, I'm going to pass to you and we'll move that TV around.
All right. Well, that's a terrible way to tee things up. Jonathan Wright, Community and Economic Development Director. Unfortunately, when the mayor's not here, then you get the city manager, and when the city manager's not here, you get the police chief. When the police chief's not here, well, guess what? So We did not have a city council meeting on April 8th, which I'm sure you're aware of because it was probably reported on April 9th. However, we did have the Elks Lodge Public Safety Awards where we had 2 members of our fire safety groups that were recognized. We had BC Matt Gell from the Auburn Fire Department and CSO Katie Williamson, who is from Auburn PD. So those are great awards. Of course, we always support our local public safety folks and are really proud of them and appreciate all the recognition that they do get out there. It's not always recognition.
Go further than Sunrise Natural Foods.
Into budgeting time, and I'm sure it's been reported to you that our mid-year budget projections did not come out great. Those have been further refined by Gretchen, who's our new finance director, and we are really looking at things conservatively
10 seconds.
Going into the next fiscal year. So right now, all of the different
Save 15% off every Wednesday. Visit us in Auburn and Roseville or online at Sunrise.
16 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:16 a.m. If you're just joining us on Tuesdays during the 7 o'clock hour, we listen into the Auburn Meddlers meeting, the Chamber of Commerce meeting. Right now, we are getting updates from the city from Jonathan Wright, who is the city economics director. Let's go ahead and go back to the meeting.
Down in our downtown sections, which are our pride of industry, and that's what we're really known for. But we get a lion's share from another market sector, which currently
That
is,
microphone that they got, whatever
slowly
microphone they
being,
got for this is fantastic.
pushed out by the
It
state
is so
of
good.
California as well as other
So
areas
impressed by it.
as things are switched over from petroleum products.
So
over to
good
renewables.
librarian day dad
So
jokes.
I look
Solid.
at it and,
It's amazing.
start out with the
Way better than
economic
tax
development
day.
director. Well, economic development's about 10%.
Tax day had nothing.
Community development is my primary.
But as my
focus,
wife would
which
say,
includes
tax day is
economic
nothing to joke
development.
about.
Think about everything in community development. Is actually
Adam, rim shot! That's good. That's a
I'm
good
only
one.
as good as my predecessors. I'm only as good as the people that came before me. So when I have a 1993 general plan that I'm trying to work with to try to squeeze in different types of industries or identify lands for infill, it makes it very difficult. Working with the 1972 zoning code makes things very difficult. So, hindsight is what it is. But in order to overcome the challenges of today, we should have really been focused on what we were doing 10 years ago. Today, we're actually headed in the right direction. We are doing the things we should be doing. Thanks to support from council members. Moving forward, we are into the general plan update process, which I'm sure has been reported here. It's very important. It's not only a state mandate, but it's also the policy document that moves your city forward. And one of the things we have to look at, especially for financial solvency going into the future, is we can't do things the way we've done it. I mean, if anybody thinks that we're just going to continue the way we have and be solvent for the next 10 years is nuts. So you play silly games, you get silly prizes. Well, we haven't done any of this, so we're finally starting to move forward. And our general plan outreach just recently closed. We've had an online survey that we put out to the public, and believe it or not, if we look at the population of 14,000, getting 560 responses to an online survey is actually pretty impressive. So we did get a really good response there. We had 2 public meetings. One of them was in person, which was very well attended. One was virtually, which was also pretty well attended. And our consultant, Barry Miller, has gone out to just about every organization he can. In fact, he's going to be here on the 21st, so I'm not going to talk about it too much because he'll go into it a little bit more. But really doing a good job of getting out in the community. And, we can't always rely on people finding us and finding the information. Nobody reads the legal ads in the paper. So it's really good to see that our consultant's actually going out there and knocking on doors. In fact, I think the best attended meeting was by accident, and I was actually at the school district because with all the things that are going on at the school, he had this captive audience of like 150 people that were from all over the place. So, and actually got really good response from there. In fact, our numbers went up in the survey poll right after that. So May 22nd, May 21st, you will have him here as a speaker. That's one of those real critical pieces. Once we get done with that, it's about a 2-year process. We're probably about 18 months away from completion. Once we get done with that, then we start looking at our zoning code. One of the things it really does for us is it sets us in a position where we can start looking at doing municipal services analysis and start looking at annexation and other things that we need to do so we have buildable lands. One of the things I struggle with in economic development is the fact that we don't have any place to put businesses. We do have some vacancies around town, but those are very specific things. If you're looking at bringing in industries, you've got to have something of considerable size. I'm sure it was reported here, we have a Blocker Mead is the industrial park. It's our last greenfield industrial site. It's only 14 acres. But we're working hand in hand with that owner and developer to try to get all of the entitlements out of the way so we can get that moving forward. Then we'll work with our folks at GSEC to try to find some tenants and start getting that moving. So we're moving things where we can. Last year we applied for a $650,000 Green Means Go grant for the county-owned property. That is actually set to go to the council this next month, or this next week, excuse me, on the 22nd. That is going to basically be what we call kind of an infill acceleration project. So it's going to look at all the environmental, looking at the infrastructure, engaging stakeholders about what that site should be in the future. I know that there's pretty much, it's not a secret that the county's been doing a great job with their facility in North Auburn, and that this site over here, or as far as an infill site, the Domes property, has some redevelopment potential. And so we're not taking that away from the county. We're just simply planning for the future. So at some point when things change over, we have identified kind of the highest and best use, especially being right next to a transit hub where it is, because it provides a lot of opportunity for housing and jobs and other things. So that's set to go forward at the next city council meeting. That's very important. The only thing, there's a caveat to it, is because that grant was a Green Means Go, and it's also, we're looking at the state's budget deficit, and the rumor has, and what we've been told is, don't anticipate maybe getting all of the grant funds. They don't know what the budget's going to look like from the state level, but we're going forward as if it's going to happen, but those things could change. The other thing is the finance department today is going to be closed this afternoon and tomorrow, just to do some reorganization of furniture in there. So if anybody needs anything, we'll be down in room 3, and we can still do finance things. It's just going to be down the hallway. I'd also like to just real quick highlight some of the events we have coming up. I don't know if it was announced, but downtown is having their spring cornhole competition. That is going to be this weekend.
I announced it.
I believe they're going to be up on Upper Lincoln Street. And also we're preparing right now for our Canyons race event, which is the Ironman endurance race that is now, I think it's up to 2,500 people, and many different countries are going to be here. So it's very exciting. Keep in mind there will be a road closure on High Street that's starting at about 9 o'clock on Friday. We have notified the high school to make sure that they're aware of it.
This week?
And that
was Canyons this week?
Pretty much what I have for the other thing. Back real quick to the general plan. While the survey is closed, there's actually an interactive map. So if you go to the city's website, there is a Envision Auburn link there. If you go to that link, it's a really cool map, and all you got to do is click on it. You can do strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities. So if you've always thought, it'd be really neat if we had, Disneyland right here, then you could put a pin there and say, it'd be really great if Mickey Mouse was hanging out right here. And, that could be one of those things that identify as policies going forward of, what potential things are out there. So I know a lot of people have identified connections with the canyons and the recreation community. There's some things for transient lodging in there. There's also some people that have concerns around intersections, which is also great because transportation and circulation is also being worked on through this process. So I will turn it back over to Dana.
Jonathan, thanks. Last month, I don't know if you all remember this, but the report triggered that I think it was Bob Snyder who had asked about the property that is adjacent to the parking lot of the train station, and you talked about the Blocker Mead. Can you expand on Blocker Mead and explain where that complex land is and how it, and if you know those questions, I think it's adjacent to city property. How does it, I know you look at it. How does it affect the city's property that's right next to the Blocker Mead property?
Okay, that's a good question. One of the nice things about this development, so if anybody knows where the Blocker Mead site is, where our transit hub is off of Nevada Street, we have the bus, the rail. There's also, I think it's a Dawson's fueling station right there, and then right across from there is the city-owned parking lot. Bordering to that and following the railroad right there is the 14-acre Blocker Mead site. Currently, it is limited on access, and what they're proposing to do is actually put in a road that will connect over to the housing area over there. Is it? Yes, because that is a very narrow road getting in and out of there, and for fire safety and emergency, you look at that and go,
this is a bad idea. So they're actually looking at putting in a connector road over there so that there's going to be a circulation. So, two ways in and out of that community. At the same time, they're going to be encumbering some of the city-owned property, and they will be expanding the parking lot further to the south, probably, as it follows down the train track there. So we're going to be ending up with a much larger parking area. We'll be ending up with a new road that connects over there, and then their circulation system is going to be coming off of that road. So, like I said, it's 14 acres. Not all that's developable. We know there's a creek down there. There's some environmental things. But it's really it's neat the way that they're kind of capitalizing on the natural terrain features there, and making so truck and freight mobility can get in and out. And it's going to be a great addition to that area. If anybody wants to think of what it most likely will look like, right down the street on the right is another kind of flex use space where there's office and there's industrial uses. It's going to be kind of one of those flex use compounds. So it's not going to be heavy industrial. A lot of people are thinking it could be aggregate mining and that kind of thing, which is not true. This will be more of those niche industries and startup businesses because they are smaller, but those that need kind of freight areas where they can offload. There'll be storage, and then there'll also be office space associated with it. So whenever we have businesses that are looking to expand or grow, or manufacturers that are looking to come to the area, this would be a great place where they can tee off, and then we can work on finding a larger scale site for them in the future.
Great, thank you, Jonathan. Other questions for Jonathan this morning? Yeah, you're gonna have to repeat
the question. Off of Nevada Street. Okay, so the question was, is there anything planned for the land right across the street from the nursery? Up on the hill? Are you talking about the hillside? Yeah. Oh, persistencies. Okay, so that's up on top of the. No, there's currently nothing planned. The nice thing about going through a general plan update right now is we're actually going to look at property. Currently, it's actually zoned for residential. So if we really look at what the highest and best use is, I've told everybody and every
getting feedback that audio isn't coming through, but I think audio wasn't coming through because I'm just not talking. I think maybe because I have this up a little bit higher, so it's conflicting with the sound of my audio. But I'm turning it up so I can hear what's coming over Zoom, so I can hear the meeting. Maybe, hopefully the audio is working. I don't know.
We're going to come back and look at it again, but we're going to be looking at things that are revenue generators for the community. Right. It's don't quote me, but I believe it's around 24 acres. But it's encumbered by the canal. There's a few terrain features.
So I'm going to go to Al.
Collins is back, and as of this week. So we just got notified by the final map was about to expire. We weren't sure what they were going to do, and they just notified us that they are going to extend it. That'll be going to Planning Commission later this month. So hopefully that goes through. They don't have a developer at this time. It's just the owner they're going to get the final map done and subdivision agreement complete so they can sell it.
30 seconds.
We did have a developer at one time. And we're,
pay attention.
Maybe they can come back.
Fun fact: there are 3 former members of the Collins Drive Cemetery District.
28 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:28 a.m. here at FM 104.5, AM 950 KAHI, voice of the foothills. If you're just joining us, we're listening into the Auburn Meddlers meeting as we do Tuesdays during the 7 o'clock hour. We're going to pause right now, show some love to our advertisers. We will be back to the Meddlers meeting right after this. Whoops, I forgot. I canceled some stuff out. It's actually, we're going to hang out just a little bit. I got my timing off here just a little bit. We're going to pause for just a second, go back to the Meddlers meeting, and then we'll show some love to our advertisers here in just a little bit. I forgot. I canceled some stuff out, so I got to wait till 7:30. Whoops. Man, I made a note of that too. And totally forgot about it.
Since that original proposal, as you know, that for the senior housing, it simply is one of those things that came in. We worked with the possible developers, and they sometimes they go away, they just never come back. And so that was one of the scenarios.
As far as the neighboring property, I've not had any bites on that.
All right, let's try this one more time. We're going to pause. We're going to show some love to our advertisers. We will be back right after this.
Electric heat and air. ABT has been in business since 2001, and we are thrilled to have been voted Auburn's best.
Of city paying for the cleanup. But anyways, I won't tell you where I stood on it. But anyways, actually, I thought it'd be a great place to put a park. But the majority disagreed with me. Anyways, I guess I can say that now that I'm on the council. Terry, go ahead.
These are
That would be a great question for the city manager.
Who happens to be on this morning, Sean? Did you want to answer that? You may not have heard the question, though.
You there?
I think he's just monitoring you, John.
Yeah, he's probably going to try to stick my foot in my mouth.
Yeah, he's not coming off mute, so we'll have to. I'm here. There he is. Good morning, Sean. Hey, good morning. What was the question? I don't know.
There's a ballot measure coming out in November that it could greatly impact the city's ability to raise fees and rates. And the question
Store right here in Auburn, McCullough's department store.
31 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:31 a.m. here at FM 104.5, AM 950 KAHI, voice of the foothills. Hey, we're going to jump back to the meddlers meeting as we do during the 7 o'clock hour on Tuesdays. Right now, we're getting updates from the city, and then we'll have our special guest speaker. Spoiler alert, it's going to be Chief Estes, who is CAL FIRE Chief of Placer County. Let's go ahead and head back to the meddlers meeting now.
So we haven't had any significant increases in taxes or anything like that, but going forward, that would be a big problem for us for sure.
Thanks, Eric. Thank you, Sean, for joining us this morning. All right, with that, let's go ahead and turn it over to our guest speaker this morning. With us is Chief Ryan Estes, the CAL FIRE Nevada Yuba Placer Unit and Placer County Fire Chief. Chief Estes has been here before, so I'm going to turn it right over to you. Welcome.
Okay, thank you, Daniel, and good morning, everyone. Great to see everyone this morning and be back in the Rose Room. Yeah, after I guess a year, more than a year of some renovations and that, and speaking a little bit outside this morning, you know, speaking of the last year and a half, what a tremendous historical set of incidents that we've had across our county, and more specifically at the back door of the city of Auburn, with the mosquito fire being the largest recorded wildland fire in Placer County's history. But you know what's interesting is that I feel like we are living, when it comes to fire seasons, we're living in the same kind of world of extremes that our state and our nation are living in right now. And we spent 5 or 6 years living in the drought years where, you know, we were experiencing record-setting amounts in acreage, and private property and lives impacted by damaging wildfires across the state. And now we've moved into, you know, what I would say a more moderate or a more typical seasonal type of pattern for the last couple of years. But I want to caution everyone that it doesn't, you know, this kind of yo-yo effect that people want to perceive is really not the case. And for many of you who I'm sure are generational in the foothills of California, as I am, what we're experiencing really this year is very, very typical of what we should see in the foothills of California in our Mediterranean climate. Really, we should be experiencing some level of precipitation, you know, through May, and then a slower drying period through June and July, with really our most dramatic weather events and heat issues coming in August, September, October, and even into November, where we see sometimes our seasonal fall winds. The key for us here in Placer and Nevada and Yuba counties is that our ignitions are 85% caused by the human element. And so the more people that we have move into our areas, that ignition is not only going to stay consistent, but it's going to increase. And as an example, across our unit,
interesting.
And as Daniel said, I serve with just the tremendous honor of being the county fire chief as well as the state unit chief. When I put that state hat on, I oversee operations in 3 counties, Placer, Nevada, and Yuba counties. Across the board, our dispatch center dispatches about 40 to 45,000 calls for service across that region annually. About on an average good year, I say a good, active year, about 400 of those 40 to 45,000 calls a year are wildland fires. So really, a fairly small amount of the calls for service we do are actually
good, it's working now.
Forest, brush fire.
I don't know what happened to the audio there. That's weird.
My good friend out there, Chief
It was
Rogers,
weird blips, but it's working now. Okay. Well, maybe I might have had the monitor up too loud here in the studio, so it might have been
serving the public every single
competing
day,
with my audio.
a day, and we're very proud.
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
Of those wildland fires that we had,
Thanks for letting me know.
Even last year, which was very moderate weather-wise, we still had almost 300 fire starts. So the ignitions are always going to be there, is what I'm saying. It's just a matter of what kind of weather conditions we're going to get and what kind of large fire activity we're going to see across the state. But I think, as Supervisor Gustafson said, people flooded us out there, no pun intended, in the pouring rain at the North Auburn for Fire Safe Council event. We handed out over 150 reflective signs for front yards in Christian Valley. So people are hypersensitive. They're aware, they're vigilant. They understand that whether you're in the city limits or out in the unincorporated areas, that wildland fire and the threat from damaging fires is at our doorstep all the time. Whether it's a moderate season or an extreme drought-fed season, we have to remain vigilant.
Yes, we do.
I wanted to echo the comments about the Auburn Elks Club. We were just really honored as every year to be part of that, and we were very, very proud of our one of our captains at headquarters at Bowman Station 10, Eric Whitman, who's Marine Corps
off now to
the Middle East.
I'm not going to do record the news. The second half of the news. Let's go.
This year. So we want to thank the Elks for that honor every year. As I move into our kind of ramp up on the county side, we're consistent all year long as a good partner to Chief Rogers and all the local government departments across the county. On the county side, we operate 10 career companies out of 8 stations. We protect an area of about 450 square miles across unincorporated Placer County, serving about 56,000 residents. And an assessed value well into the billions, with a real diverse target hazard from dense industrial and multifamily dwelling type of hazards in North Auburn to very remote recreation-heavy river canyons and the vast kind of open wildlands of the western edge of Placer County. So it's a very diverse mission, and we do it in partnership with our other local government fire departments every single day. On the state side, we kind of go through this ramp up and ramp down, as probably all of you are aware. We maintain a really robust base staffing all year long that is anywhere from about 7 to 10 stations that are open all year long. As fire season increases into the year, we peak out in about the middle of June with a total of 22 fire engines fully staffed, our aviation assets, our hand crew bulldozer assets, so that we have this just force multiplier with our local government partners to be able to put that real strong, aggressive initial attack onto all new wildland fires across Placer County, Nevada. We believe in and have always believed in our ability to suppress 95% of our fires at 10 acres or less. That initial attack mentality has been with our department since its inception, and it's because we protect your property. We don't manage public lands, we protect private tax-paying property. And so it's very important that we maintain vigilance on that. Some new and kind of upcoming things that we're seeing this year. And you're going to see we're going to produce an article for PCWA's Fire and Water this year. They're going to get into greater detail about some of these emerging technologies. But our camera system with 33 cameras across the unit has been instrumental in early detection of new fires, and that's based out of our command center, our dispatch. City Fire are customers of that dispatch center.
20 minutes to the top of the hour, 7:40 a.m. here at FM 104.5, AM 950 KAHI, voice of the foothills. If you're just joining us, we're listening into the Auburn Meddlers meeting, as we do every Tuesday during the 7 o'clock hour. Today's special guest speaker, who we're hearing from right now, is Chief Estes, CAL FIRE Chief of Placer County. Let's go ahead and go back to the meeting now.
Well, it was a big part, and as we just heard, some of the economic challenges that the state is facing with the state budget. One of the first things, unfortunately, and Daniel knows this more than anyone sitting in his day job, that some of the impacts to grants are really significant when we see budget.
Interesting. Okay, now off to record.
And we're not immune to that. So, unfortunately, we have seen our ability to administer grants across our region and the state reduce. Here in our unit, we have a tremendous. Our local grassroots partners are really good at applying for grants. They do it really well. The Placer RCD is probably one of the best in the state at doing it right and administering it right. And they are going to continue to work on the North Fork of the American Shaded Fuel Break, which is going to tie right into the city boundaries of Auburn when we're done. We're in phase 2 right now this year, funding the RCD to do that out of a 4-year project. And it's one of the things coming into my 8th year as the state and county fire chief now that I'd really like to see come to fruition. I don't know if we'll get to the finish line, but we will get pretty darn close. But we are looking at about close to $14 million in forest health grants administered across the unit, and about $4 million in fire prevention grants across the unit. In aviation, some of the more frontline stuff that we're seeing, our Black Hawk program, helicopter program is fully coming to full fruition this year. We will see all of our Black Hawks in service with a total of 4 of our bases across the state as 24-hour MPG firefighting and rescue helicopter bases. In addition, our new C-130 program, we will hopefully see 1, if not 2, of those large air tankers flying this year out of 7 that are funded in the department. And then locally here, thanks to our department's support of our local region and the impact the positive impact we've had from fire aviation, we are going to see our local helicopter funded at Auburn headquarters again. And then we're also going to put a night flying helicopter in Truckee this year. So we are really just flooding our local region with every asset we have, so that no matter what comes at us, we're ready for that initial attack mission. And with that, I'm excited and just want to thank the city of Auburn, the council, my partner John Rogers. I always love coming to Meddlers, being part of the community here in Auburn. I cannot thank Supervisor Gustafson enough. She has been a champion of the fire service in general and a real supporter of county fire. We will come into our contract renewal with the county this year. It'll be our 72nd year as the county fire department in Placer County, and something I don't take lightly and I'm extremely proud of. So thank you, Cindy, for your continued support. And thank you, everyone, for letting me be here. Open for questions.
Seems like a great election endorsement that you probably can't give, but anyways, with that, questions for the chief, if you could repeat them.
Sure.
All right. Well, I guess I'll start. Chief, you talked about the fuel break that is under the grant. Maybe you could talk a little bit about what has already been done, and so where are you trying to connect to get to the fuel break that the RCD was also funded to do here around the city of Auburn?
Yeah, great question. So in 2019, the North Fork of the American Shaded Fuel Break was one of 35 priority projects funded through an executive order by the governor. The other one was in Grass Valley, Nevada City area for us here locally. We really focus on the North Auburn, the North Fork of the American Shaded Fuel Break. I say North Auburn because Auburn had the shaded fuel break that's been around for years, and they've done outstanding work within the city limits. The thing we wanted to do was recognize the fire history in the North Fork of the American River and basically create a fire break protecting the communities from essentially Dutch Flat all the way down to the city of Auburn. And in order to do that, we needed an anchor point. We needed a foothold up the hill. And so the city of Colfax and the landfill, the old landfill that's paved over now, was the starting point up there. So it was funded in 2019, phase one. We started working from that point down to toward Auburn. We're into phase two now, which is like we're around kind of Gillis Hill area. And really what the purpose is to take, anywhere from at some points a couple hundred yards all the way to maybe a half mile wide, depending on the terrain. And really taking it from just at the top of the flats, just over the canyon rim, so that anything either coming out of the canyon, we have a good fighting chance of stopping it, or as importantly, anything that gets stopped, that gets established on the top, doesn't run over into the canyon and cause us a bunch of problems. And we had that actual example on a fire 2 years ago, a commercial RV fire that started in a gentleman's front yard, spotted over, landed inside the fuel break in areas that had just been treated that year. Our tankers got at scene and stopped it at 1/4 acre. And had that fuel break not been there, it would have been into the canyon near Windy Point and probably been a significant fire for us. So it's a total of 4 phases. The Placer RCD, Sarah Jones, has been an amazing partner. Is one of the best producers I've seen out there. We will just keep moving to the south, pointing along. It's pretty much all private land. There are a few private landowners spaced in there that don't necessarily want us doing any of that work. And so we work through those challenges, but for the most part, all the communities have been more than willing to have us in there.
All right, with that, are any questions? I mean, I can just keep going. Yeah, maybe.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, Daniel may want to jump in here and talk a little bit from his day job perspective. What I can tell you about our defensible space program in the unit here and what we do over 11,000 defensible space inspections annually. Our local government partners in the cities and the grassroots organizations also do them. That information is public. We're aggressive on it. I will say that the insurance companies don't always or don't necessarily use that information for the decisions they make about carrying or canceling insurance. People in Placer County are very, very serious and very vigilant about doing what needs to be done for defensible space. Unfortunately, that doesn't always meet the threshold for whether an insurance company is going to carry coverage.
I'll just add to it, and I have 12 minutes before my day job. But the answer to your question at a statewide level is yes. The department, specifically myself, have been working with the Department of Insurance in new regulations that would require insurance companies to take into account all the stuff that Chief Estes has talked about as far as defensible space, fuel breaks. The Department of Insurance has not, to my knowledge, approved any of the insurance companies' plans that would require them to use it, and so they're currently not. And then the other piece of it that if you look at insurance, they're making decisions really on a more zip code level.
Okay,
so
news is recorded.
You do all the right things, great. But when they're
There we go.
looking at the community, you just happen to be one number in that. And so they're looking at community. wide. And the other part too is that they're really trying to kind of spread out their market share, and so they obviously they don't want to insure everybody in this community, because if something happens, they have a huge loss, and so they may do 3 homes in this neighborhood, not all of them, and so it just may be random as they try to spread out their market. That even though you've done everything right, you're part of that calling, if you will, of trying to reduce our load. Obviously, Steve, if he was here, can talk a lot more about it. But the short answer that I made really long now is yes, the department is working with the Department of Insurance to try to make sure that mitigations that we talk about matter and go into account in your availability of insurance and your price.
Yeah.
Ten minutes to the top of the hour here at FM 104.5, AM 950 KAHI, voice of the foothills, 750 AM. We're listening into the Auburn Meddlers meeting, as we do during the 7 o'clock hour on Tuesdays. We're listening to today's special guest speaker, Chief Estes, CAL FIRE Chief of Placer County. He's taking questions from the audience now. A little bit hard to hear from the audience now that they're in the Rose Room, now that the microphones aren't all around the room. We'll do our best to maybe repeat the question, or at least hopefully they repeat the questions as they're listening to feedback from the audience. Let's go ahead and tune back in now to the meeting to hear from our special guest speaker today, Chief Estes, CAL FIRE Chief of Placer County.
Forest Service, the Tahoe National Forest, I'll just speak locally to our partners here on the Tahoe National Forest. They actually do a really, really good job. Their pre-fire work and their prescribed fire work, they get some of the best results I've seen of any of the national forests. They have a different landscape. They don't have to deal with some of the smoke management issues, the communities, the impact to all of you. Most of their work is done out in the public lands, which are not going to be an impact to you on a day-to-day basis. But it's important because all that land, it fabrics together when a wildland fire happens. We need them to treat their lands, the public lands, so that we can protect, John and I and our departments can protect the private communities. As far as their mission, we all generally have the same mission. Their mission is a little bit different than ours and our local government partners. So I don't want to speak necessarily to their preparedness levels or their initial attack strategies and that, but I can tell you that when it comes down to the 911 call coming in for a fire, we ensure that private communities and private lands are always getting 100% of the initial attack resources that we're responsible to give you. That will never change, no matter whether it's private lands or private lands are being impacted by federal lands. One of the things John and I were talking about that I'll probably bring to City Council here is we have a mutual threat zone agreement with the City of Auburn. That's something that the past City Council members and myself established because the City of Auburn is not immune. I don't look at boundaries. I don't look at city boundaries and unincorporated lands any differently. The fires know no boundaries, and so my goal is to establish agreements and establish a mindset so that we can put the most amount of resources where they need to be put in the event of a land.
You brought that up. I was going to ask you that. Maybe you can expand a little bit, because at the end of the day, really, it's a savings to the City of Auburn if there is a fire. And so maybe you can talk about what you were able to provide. It's not a campaign pitch for you, but what you can provide, because it was a huge monumental shift for us in the City of Auburn.
Yeah, I mean, in a nutshell, a municipality like the City of Auburn or any municipality in the state of California, the CAL FIRE does not have jurisdictional or fiscal responsibility for the suppression of a wildland fire within those city limits. And so if you're a city, you have to look at those liabilities. And a city like Auburn that is very susceptible and a threat from a damaging wildfire is real. It's at your doorstep. You have to say, okay, I have to have a fire department that has the full, robust resources to combat a fire like that, and the fiscal resources to be able to pay for mutual aid and all those resources that come in, or we need to have some sort of agreement with our partners. The reason we were able to facilitate this, what's called a mutual threat zone agreement, is because the city limits are relatively small and it's 100% surrounded by CAL FIRE's jurisdiction. So it just really made sense that we would treat it like any fire that starts within the city limits is a threat to me, and any fire that starts in my jurisdiction is a threat to Chief Rogers. And so we have raced to those boundaries, which allows us to put the full breadth of CAL FIRE aviation and ground resources into the city of Auburn free of charge. If we did not have that, frankly, the city of Auburn would be on the hook financially for the suppression and the mutual aid resources coming in to suppress the fire within the city. So it's an example I love to talk about. We have those agreements with the city of Colfax, city of Auburn, the city of Grass Valley, Nevada City, and it's a tremendous cost saving for those municipalities. And like John and I and many others have talked about, I never ever want to stand in front of you in the face of a disaster with my partners making excuses for why we didn't plan in advance. I want to be able to tell you we did everything we could to plan to do things the right way in the face of an emergency. Yeah. Sure. Yeah, it's probably one of the most challenging things for the fire service, modern day fire service, is how do we beat the keyboard warriors out there there's so many ways to access information that we are not always going to be the first ones to the ticket. I'll just admit that.
Kathy's on the call.
Yeah,
our local keyboard queen, I would call you, Kathy.
Yeah, and I mean, we've got great people out there that are able to provide information, put information out there. They're great supporters of the fire service and emergency services. But I kind of look at it as we have information, or we have intelligence, and then we have information. The first step for us is to gather the intel and then validate it and make sure it's right. Because I don't ever want to give you information that I have to retract and then go back and correct. You know, Mary Eldridge, or Mary West, as many of you may know her, is sitting back here, my communications director, and she battles this, all year long, trying. And I'm always on the phone with her saying, why didn't you, right, Mary? And she works her butt off 7 days a week, 24 hours a day to make sure that you're receiving the most accurate information. We're not perfect. And for me, I want to get it to you in a timely manner, but it's more important for me to get you accurate information. When it comes to evacuations, mass notification, stuff like that, the Placer Alert and Ready Placer is absolutely the best place to go. You can go to Facebook, Twitter, all the different social media sites for the respective departments, but one-stop shopping for Placer County is Ready Placer and Placer Alert. Thanks for that.
We have just less than 2 minutes left, Chief. Maybe very quickly, talk to us about what you foresee in the next couple of months as far as peak fire season for you.
Yeah, what I'm seeing is, like I said earlier, is a pretty normal trend that we're moving up to. I don't think we're totally out of the woods on precipitation. We may see a little bit more looking at our long range forecast. We're still seeing the tail end of some monsoonal flows out of Southern California, but I suspect that June and July are going to be very typical, heating up. We have our first level of staffing coming on this morning. We're also really proud. Today marks the start of our National Public Safety Telecommunications, basically our 911 Dispatchers Week. So I'll be heading from here straight up to our dispatch center to spend some time with those hardworking men and women who are some of the most forgotten folks behind the scenes, frankly, and make it all happen. But yeah, I think by July, what we're going to see, my gut feeling, is a very typical hot, dry start to our fire season.
Hot, dry.
The kicker for me is always in the fall. That is the kicker. If we get the winds in the fall, those dry high fall winds that all of you are familiar with. When we get them, it's off to the races. When we don't, it's usually an indicator that we're shutting the door early. So everything being said, I always say look to the fall.
All right, keep on those words. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you. I'm sorry I demoted you in your introduction, but thank you to Jonathan, our community and economic. You have your high skills. Yeah, I know. And it changed.
And you're listening to FM 104.5 AM 950 KAHI, voice of the foothills. Just in case you forgot, we were listening into the Auburn Meddlers meeting, the Chamber of Commerce meeting that happens every Tuesday during the 7 o'clock hour. Really cool that we can join in via Zoom. Technology these days is absolutely fantastic. And listen in not only to updates from the county and the city, but also the special guest speaker that they have every week that comes in. This week it was Chief Estes from Placer County. Let's see, what's his official title? CAL FIRE, Chief of Placer County. So lots of good stuff happening, lots of good updates. Yeah, be fire ready, remember all the defensible space, all that good stuff as we're getting ready to head into, as he said, it's gonna, gang, get ready. It's gonna get warm, it's gonna get hot. We know it's coming. Thank goodness for all the precipitation that we're getting. Hopefully that holds off. But like you said, it's the summers, we know that it's going to be hot. It's the fall, and that's kind of, these last couple of years. And when it comes to the fall, we think maybe we're out of the woods because temperatures are starting to cool, but then, the winds kick up. So everybody be vigilant this year. Make sure, we're not starting any outdoor fires, all right? That's interesting what he said about, most of these are started, they're human activity as we have more folks moving into the area. It's not a lot of nature starting it. It's a lot of human beings starting it. So make sure you're just being fire wise as you're going through. Always a good reminder, especially as we're heading into the warmer weather, to make sure that we're on guard for all the things that are happening. But as we're getting started for this day, this April 16th, again, right smack dab at the top of the hour, 8 a.m. here. Lots of good stuff happening on this day. April 16th is the day of the mushroom. Okay. Also, I think that pairs nicely with Eggs Benedict Day. So maybe I'm thinking more of an omelet. You could have Eggs Benedict Day. It's also Save the Elephant Day. It's Stress Awareness Day. And Wear Pajamas. Oh, I did not get this memo. It's Wear Pajamas to Work Day. And like a sucker, I dressed up like I normally do. So, all right. Well, if you're working today, maybe you're working from home today, whether you're working an office job from home or you're just a stay-at-home parent, today's wearing pajamas to work day. Maybe your day is just wearing pajamas anyway, and that's all right. Today in 1862, known as Emancipation Day, Abraham Lincoln freed 3,100 slaves in Washington, D.C. on this day in history. Today, also, Producer Adam, hold the music here for a second. Today is Henry Mancini's birthday is today. Let's get here we go. Let's get Peter Gunn, the theme there. My grandmother had a Henry Mancini cassette tape. Yeah, kids, we had cassette tapes back then. Really hard to skip forward to the next song. You had to press fast forward and hope you got the timing right. Just go off of instinct to make sure that you got to the next song if you wanted to skip it, or you had to rewind the song and see if you got it just right in order to hit rewind. Yeah, cassette tapes were awful. Let's just be honest. Like a record was great. CDs, fantastic. Digital music, got no problem with. Cassette tapes, I know they were supposed to be convenient, but oh my goodness gracious, were they a pain in the rear. Anyway, happy birthday to Henry Mancini today, American composer and conductor. He passed away in 1994, but born on this day in 1924. My grandma had the Pink Panther cassette tape that had a lot of songs from Henry Mancini, of course, the theme from Pink Panther there. As we're celebrating his birthday today, if it's your birthday today, happy stinking birthday to you. I hope you have a fantastic day today as you're sharing it with Henry Mancini. Maybe listen to some Henry Mancini music as you're going throughout today. And I hope you have a fantastic day. Other birthdays today include Peter Ustinov, English actor, born on this day in 1921. Charlie Chaplin, 1889, born on this day in 1889. English actor. I didn't know I thought he was an American. All right. And our actor, director, producer, screenwriter, composer. I didn't know he composed either. He died in 1977, but Charlie Chaplin, born on this day in 1889. My goodness. Well, hey, we need to find out what this day is looking like weather-wise. For that, we turn it over to meteorologist Tim Root. Timmy, how are we looking for today?
Around 70,
and the light southwest winds. Temperatures tonight will be around 50, mostly clear skies. Light winds will continue. Low 70s with sunshine, a few scattered clouds Wednesday, and mostly sunny Thursday and Friday. It'll stay about 70 to 75 each day, along with that spring sunshine continuing. This is meteorologist Tim Root from FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
It's time to live better at CAC Fit at 2514 Bell Road in the Crossroads Shopping Center. Whether your fitness goals are to lose weight, gain weight, functional training, or recovery, they've got you covered with customized training programs, fitness classes, hydro massages, and more. Open 7 days a week with 24/7 access. Stop by CAC Fit at 2514 Bell Road in the Crossroads Shopping Center. Call 530-885-1964 or online at cacfit.com.
And 5 minutes past the top of the hour. Adam, where's the music there? Keep it going. My goodness gracious. Yeah, we're celebrating Henry Mancini's birthday today. Having a bunch of Henry Mancini songs playing. We had the Pink Panther. We had Moon River from Breakfast at Tiffany's. Lots of good stuff. Hey, coming up in our next segment, we're going to have your Fox Business Report. And then at the bottom of the hour today, we're going to have your daily dad jokes on this National Librarian Day as well. I think we've got a bunch of librarian dad jokes lined up for you. We're going to head back now to America's First News. I'll see you back here in just a little bit.
Good Tuesday morning. America's First News continues on the 16th day of April. 6 minutes past.
That was
the
good.
hour, and
All
Donald
right.
Trump returns to a New York court.
Peter Gunn,
Charade.
Charade, love theme from Romeo and Juliet. Baby Elephant Walk. Yeah. All right, we'll do that. What do we have coming up next? We've got Fox Business Report and traffic. Cool. All right. And then that's it. Sports ball at the bottom of the hour. And then we're done.
It said this is a case that should be brought for trial. It's a scam. It's a political witch hunt. It continues and continues forever. And we're not going to be given a fair trial. It's a very, very sad thing. In addition, as you know, next Thursday, we're before the
I'll put that librarian joke in the.
immunity. And this is something that we've been waiting for a long time. And the judge, of course, is not going to allow us. He's a very conflicted judge. And he's not going to allow us to go to that. He won't allow me to leave here for a half a day, go to D.C. and go before the United States Supreme Court because he thinks he's superior, I guess, to the Supreme Court.
While Trump claims the case is election interference, critics note he's the one charged with unlawfully influencing the 2016 presidential election. It puts his legal problems at the center of the closely contested race against President Joe Biden. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said the president wasn't focused on Trump's legal issues.
I'm sure he'll get an update at some point today, but his focus right now are the meetings that he has, and what he continues to do every day.
But you have a former president going on criminal trial for the first time in history. So what is the White House's reaction to that?
I do want to be super mindful, even me commenting on that, and it is an ongoing case. I just want to be super, super mindful and not comment on an ongoing case, even if it's asking an opinion about the historic nature of what's happening and what's going to occur in the next couple of weeks. So I do want to be mindful. And he happens to be, as you just said, a candidate, a presidential candidate for 2024. So going to be mindful.
Trump has pleaded not guilty to 34 felony counts as part of an alleged effort to keep stories of his sex life from emerging during the 2016 campaign. It's the first of Trump's 4 criminal cases to go to trial and maybe the only one that could reach a verdict before voters decide in November. Israel's military chief said Monday that the country will respond after Iran launched an attack involving hundreds of drones, ballistic missiles, and cruise missiles.
Hey, jelly. What kind of fish goes best with peanut butter? A jellyfish.
Council spokesperson John Kirby declined to say whether the U.S. expects to or has been briefed on Israeli response plans, as he touted the success of the U.S.-led coalition that defended Israel.
I've seen reporting that the Iranians meant to fail, that this spectacular and embarrassing failure was all by design. I've also seen Iran say that they provided early warning to help Israel prepare its defenses and limit any potential damage. All of this is categorically false. To coin a phrase from the president, or still a phrase from the president, it's malarkey. This attack failed because it was defeated by Israel, by the United States, and by a coalition of other partners committed to Israel's defense. Israel today is in a far stronger strategic position than it was only a few days ago.
Emojis
Iran's
mean.
vaunted missile program, something it is used to threaten Israel and the region, proved to be far less effective. Israel's defenses, on the other hand, proved even better than many had long assumed.
John, Israel is reportedly looking at options that would send a message to Iran but not cause casualties. Is the administration presenting alternatives to
This is an Israeli decision to make, whether and how they'll respond to what Iran did on Saturday, and we're going to leave it squarely with them.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has been huddling with top officials to discuss a possible response. For a second straight day, the government made no announcements on any decisions. The Iranian attack Sunday marked the first time Iran has launched a direct military assault on Israel. It happened less than 2 weeks after a suspected Israeli strike in Syria that killed.
Just checking in with the work.
President Joe Biden
channels, all the communications.
House as his administration works to
I'm sure I'm staying up to date on all the things. Also posting in the Dad Jokes channel, because gotta bring the dad jokes from here, post them in the Dad Jokes channel. It's gotta happen.
Partnership between Iraq and the United States is
All right, so we got Fox Business Report coming up, and traffic. Are they ready to go? What's it looking like out there? Accident. Ooh, disabled vehicle. West Capitol. Accident. Ooh, we got a lot going on. Shoot. I-5. People on the roadway. What? That's kind of rough.
Personally, thank you, Mr. Prime Minister, for.
And what's this one? Accident right lane block US 50.
Saturday's drone
west
and
at Watt
launches,
Avenue.
including some that overflew Iraqi airspace and others that were launched from Iraq by Iran-backed groups, have underscored the delicate relationship between Washington and Baghdad.
Oh, here we go.
Iranian proxies have also initiated attacks against U.S. interests from inside Iraq. The U.S. in recent months has urged Iraq to do more to prevent attacks on U.S. bases in Iraq and Syria that have further roiled the Middle East. China's economy expanded at a faster than expected rate in the first 3 months of the year, helped by policies aimed at stimulating growth and strong demand.
Nothing
the world's
in the
second
email
largest economy
inbox. That's
expanded
okay.
at a 5.3% annual pace January to March, beating forecasts of about 4.8%. Compared to the previous quarter, the economy grew 1.6%. China's economy has struggled to bounce back from the COVID-19 pandemic. The better than expected data came days after China reported its exports sank 7.5% in March compared to the year prior, while imports also weakened.
America's first news. It's coming. Crisp fall mornings turn bitter cold. You climb into your diesel and it feels like you're sitting on an ice cube. Imagine how your engine feels after a frosty night. Freezing temperatures impact your diesel's fluids, especially fuel. As the temperatures drop, water that is emulsified within your fuel is released. Adding more water into your system. Frozen water in your fuel lines, filter, or bowl will simply slow the flow, or worse,
All right, here we go.
flow of fuel in your system.
30 seconds, Adam.
No start.
Who are we going to shout out?
Get prepared now for
Let's shout out Nevada City.
Shot Secret Diesel Winter Anti-Gel is a premium fuel additive that lowers your fuel's pour point to minus 65 degrees. If it's that cold out,
Jeez
you'll
Louise.
be on the road.
All right.
Fireplace. Hot Shot Secret Diesel Winter Anti-Gel.
Powered by science.
Available now online at hotshotsecret.com. Powered by science.
And good Tuesday morning to you. It is Tuesday, April 16th, and it is 14 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:14 a.m. here at FM 104.5 AM 950. You know what it is. It is the voice of the foothills. And good morning to you, Nevada City. Currently 48 degrees where you're at right now. Looking for a high today of 67 degrees. All right, let's turn it over now to the Fox Business Report. I'm Stuart Bonnie. This is the Fox Business Report.
Investors are looking up better than expected. United Health shares are sharply higher, helping to boost the Dow after its upbeat quarter. Hacking this year. Morgan saw a boost in investment banking.
Okay. Traffic, dad jokes.
Bank of America shares have been looking for direction and opened down 1%. It reported an upbeat quarter. And BOA's chief financial officer says higher interest rates for longer are actually better for banks.
Hey, it's the Edge. Oh, that's not the Edge. Looks like the Edge. How cool would that be if that was the Edge, just walking down the streets of Auburn in his little beanie and flip-flops and little jogger pants? That'd be kind of cool. I would kind of run out and get a picture taken with him, not going to lie. I'd want to do that.
You can host the best backyard barbecue when you find a professional on Angie to make your backyard the best around. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well, inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today.
3, 2,
you can do this
1.
when you Angie that.
Crossroads Radio program invite you to join
Biblical
them Sunday mornings
conclusions.
from 9 to 10 as they explore different subjects of the Bible and the everlasting gospel of Jesus Christ. Each
All right.
Sunday,
Traffic, ready to go here.
tested and proven to a strict biblical conclusion. Music during the show features the group Jordan to Canaan. That's Crossroads, Sunday mornings 9 to 10, right here on KAHI, the voice of the foothills.
16 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:16 a.m. Taking a look outside at our roadways right now. Gang, it is busy out there, especially if you're heading down to Sacramento area or heading out to the Bay Area. If you're going 80 westbound past Sacramento, disabled vehicle right lane block. That's I-80 west at Capitol Avenue, Enterprise Boulevard there. So head westbound towards the Bay Area. Give yourself a little bit of extra time. It is going to be slow in there as you're heading out there. I-5 northbound, if you're coming off of I-80 westbound going up towards the airport. Northbound's looking pretty good, slowing around 99. Southbound going towards Sacramento, that is slow. So give yourself a little bit of extra time as you're traveling out there. Looks like we've got, looks like we had another accident. Looks like it got cleared up and it said there was people on the roadway, I-5 coming in towards Sacramento there. So looks like that is cleared up. That's great. 80 westbound, if you're coming towards the Capital City split. There we go. What's that again? Slowing on Greenback and Madison right there, as we would expect. And the Cap City Freeway heading into Sacramento is slowing. 50 eastbound and westbound looking good. Westbound as you're coming into Sacramento, starting to slow around Watt Avenue now as you're coming into Sacramento, as we would expect this time of day. 65 northbound and southbound if you're heading up to Lincoln or coming from Lincoln, looking like it's slowing there. So give yourself some time. We'll be back right after this.
Producer Adam here to remind you to listen to Chris in the morning.
That was terrible. America's first news.
Get all the local news,
weather, traffic,
and local events you can handle.
Plus a healthy dose of daily dad jokes. Chris in the morning at Ray, 6 to 9 a.m. here on FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI, the voice of the foothills. I never miss it, and neither should you. My goodness, it's early.
I'm Frederick Crane, host of Radio Law Talk, the most exciting, entertaining, and sometimes informative radio show on earth. Listen to us live on KAHI, the voice of the foothills, every Saturday morning 9 to noon, here on FM 104.5 and AM 950. You can also find us on KAHI.com and the KAHI app. Remember, that's Radio Law Talk live every Saturday, right here on KAHI, AM and FM, the voice of the foothills.
18 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:18 a.m. Celebrating Henry Mancini's birthday today. Baby Elephant Walk. Man, this was a staple when I was growing up there. All right, Henry Mancini, born on this day in 1924. Coming up in our next segment, it's time for your daily dad jokes. That's right, make you laugh, sigh, roll your eyes. You can send me yours live at KAHI.com or call me 530-885-3565. Back to America's First News. I'll see you back here at the bottom of the hour. I'm just going to keep listening to that because I like it. Henry Mancini Essentials. Baby Elephant Walk from Love Story. Theme from actually something. Royal Blue. Theme from Charlie's Angels. What? Inspector Clouseau. Charade. There we go. All right. And get ready for Daily Dad Jokes. That's right. Welcome to your Daily Dad Jokes. That's right. Make you laugh, sigh, roll your eyes. All right.
That's what we've been working through.
Back after this.
We'll put something together and send it to the Senate and get these obligations complete.
Johnson went to see Trump after Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene threatened to remove him from speakership. Greene, who claims the American people are behind her, expressed more outrage Monday. She told Republicans not to fund Ukraine.
This is such a scam, and people are so done with it. People care about actions. They're tired of Republicans going out and promising all these promises and saying how we're fighting for America, and then sending their hard-earned tax dollars. By the way, today's tax day, April 15th. Everyone's having to pay the IRS to fund this government that doesn't care about actually fixing the problems here at home. They just want to kick the can down the road.
Republican chair of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, Michael McCall, told CBS Republicans opposing aid to Ukraine are uneducated on foreign affairs.
That is a speaker determination. I'll be speaking, talking to him this evening with other national security people and chairs. I talked to the our ambassador to Ukraine as well. She said the situation is dire. Kharkiv could implode any day now. That's 2 million people. And the power grid is under threat right now. If the power grid goes out in Ukraine altogether, we don't have time on our side here, Margaret. We have to get this done. I would implore, what I need to educate my colleagues, they're all tied together.
Yeah.
I mean, Iran is selling this stuff to Russia. Guess who's buying Iran's energy? China.
Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell on Monday urged Republicans in the House to take up the already passed Senate bill. A movie weapons armorer received the maximum sentence of 18 months in jail for involuntary manslaughter in the fatal shooting of a cinematographer by Alec Baldwin on a Western movie set, as authorities now turn their focus on prosecution of Baldwin. New Mexico Judge Mary Summer on Monday found that Hannah Gutierrez-Reed's recklessness amounted to a serious violent offense, while noting few indications of genuine remorse in the death of Helena Hutchins. Gutierrez-Reed said she tried to do her best on the set, despite not having proper time, resources, and staffing, and that she wasn't the monster people made her out to be.
And while you've heard her concerns about how she'll never work again as an armorer leading up to the trial, have her concerns changed? No. Here's what she says. This whole thing has been a character attack on her. Just recently, in her allocution, I'm not a monster. And what does, where is it done? They talk about how much of Hannah, on the phone, she and another are talking about how much of Hannah's life that they could take up, and that this is messing up her modeling career. This is while she's incarcerated, waiting for a sentence. And what does she say about the death of Helena? Hannah is dismissive of the judge talking about someone dying as a result of her actions. Hannah says she's looking at 13 months, which is ridiculous over what happened. Hannah says that people have accidents and people die. It's an unfortunate part of life, but it doesn't mean she should be in jail. A conditional discharge is not appropriate. And the second option of leaving you in the detention center would be giving you a pass you do not deserve. I did not hear you take accountability in your allocution. You said you were sorry. You were sorry, but not you were sorry for what you did. You were sorry for and hope they can find peace. It was your attorney that had to tell the court that you were remorseful. The word remorse, a deep regret, coming from a sense of guilt for past wrongs. That's not you. You're hereby sentenced as follows stand. I am sentencing you to 18 months of incarceration at a New Mexico Women's Correctional Facility.
Attention now turns to Baldwin's upcoming trial on a charge of involuntary manslaughter. He's pleaded not guilty. He says he pulled back the hammer of the gun, but not the trigger when it fired. Paris Hilton joined California state lawmakers Monday to push for legislation aimed at cracking down on the industry that cares for troubled teens by requiring more transparency from youth treatment facilities. The bipartisan bill, supported by the Hilton Hotel heiress and media personality, aims to pry open information on how short-term residential facilities for youth dealing with substance abuse and behavioral issues use disciplinary methods, such as restraints or seclusion against minors.
I know firsthand the horrors that happen behind the closed doors of youth residential treatment facilities. I know the feeling of helplessness, the despair of being trapped in a system that thrives on secrecy and exploitation. It's a nightmare that no child should ever have to endure. If I tried to tell my parents about the abuse, the staff would immediately rip the phone from my hand, disconnect the call, and subject me to violent physical restraints and solitary confinement. The sounds of my peers screaming as they were restrained and injected with sedatives will never leave me. It's hard to imagine that this still happens today in the USA, but it does, and we cannot ignore it. I've been successful in spite of the abuse I endured, but most children are not that lucky. The Accountability in Children's Treatment Act increases transparency so the public knows what truly happens behind closed doors. If these facilities are scared of a simple transparency measure, then I think we should ask them, what do they have to hide? If you are abusing children, I will find out, I will find you, and I will come with my huge spotlight and shine it on wherever you are.
The bill would require youth treatment centers to notify parents and the state anytime they use restraints or seclusion rooms. It's authored by Republicans and Democrats and passed committee with bipartisan support on Monday. Hilton has become a prominent advocate for more oversight and regulation of teen treatment centers after publicly sharing the physical and mental abuse she suffered. Nearly 3 weeks since Baltimore's Francis Scott Key Bridge collapsed under the impact of a wayward cargo ship, crews are using the largest crane on the eastern seaboard to haul the wreckage to a nearby salvage yard. The heaviest section so far weighed 450 tons. In the salvage yard Monday morning, workers disassembled the metal trusses with propane torches and a pair of giant shears to make them into more manageable sizes. And coming up, we'll have the latest on the criminal probe into the crash as the FBI is now involved.
America's first news.
Hey everyone, Julia Butler here with Great Plus As you have to know about. Let's start with Starbucks. Well, they're making it even better right now for spring, celebrating big time with 2 new lavender flavored drinks. They're just so good. A lavender cream matcha and lavender latte are both made with milk. It's super delicious, creamy. Every sip is with me every day of mine. On top of all this cool new spring merch, cups and tumblers, all this stuff is a limited time though while they last. So hurry on in there.
Now, time for another Otis Advisory. Fun burglars, they're in charge, and the big shakedown is in high gear. When the gum stuck under your desk looks better than what's left on the shelf at the store, you have landed in the new America. And Joey's not going to do anything. When they asked him if he has cataracts, he said, "No, I have Buicks." So lower your expectations, cries the intelligentsia, while the nice congressman lady from Brooklyn looks for a new trade route to your wallet. Fun burglars, they like it when you're worried, because you're easier to scare.
Okay,
So,
here we go.
more help
Time for your daily dad jokes.
of any kind,
Phone
anywhere in the
back.
building, ever. Got it. No Christmas either. And if your house
Phone
is
back?
infested with
What does that mean?
they're going to need
Phone
to
back.
tone
I don't
it
know.
down
Looking at the
and
chat.
change into pajamas while they get over the insult of turkey bacon. So if you're one of those who still cut your own grass, you'll understand all this. Remember, socialism is what happens when the sewer backs up. Sure, you can still buy toilet water at the mall, but that doesn't mean you should. It's critical. Remember,
These are gonna be good dad jokes.
Decoder ring to pick up all the hidden messages in this stupid bit.
Look at the plant. Look at the pines.
Crazy. The Shrunk Lotus.
And good Tuesday morning to you. It is Tuesday, April 16th. It is 30 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:30 a.m. And good morning to you, Lake of the Pines. Currently 52 degrees where you're at right now. Looking for a high today of 69 degrees. Gang, we need to get right into it. It is time for your daily dad jokes. That's right. Make you laugh, sigh, probably roll your eyes. Yeah, we've got on this National Librarian Day, we got a lot of librarian jokes sent in. We need to get right to it. I asked the librarian if she knew the author of a dinosaur book. She said, Triceratops. Ceratops is the author. Triceratops. Get it? Okay, here we go. What did the librarian say to the person checking out 50 books? Don't overdo it. Oh my gosh, these are great. What does the librarian say when she has to leave? Time to book it. Adam, keep you got to be on it with those rim shots there. How about this one? Why did the librarian get fired? He was always checked out. Oh, we didn't like that one. Okay, all right. How about this one? Let's try this one. What advice do you get from a librarian? Believe in your shelf. Okay. A book fell on a librarian's head. She only had her shelf to blame. Oh, the shelf jokes there. Man goes into a library and asks for a book on cliffhangers. The librarian says, get it? Because the librarian didn't say anything. All right, okay, here we go. And those have been your daily dad jokes. Keep the music going, Adam. Here we go. And those have been your daily dad jokes for this Tuesday, April 16th. You can send me yours live at KAHI.com, email live@KAHI.com, or call me 530-885-3565. Huge shout out to Emily for sending all of those librarian dad jokes in on this Library Day. I was talking to my wife about it yesterday. I said, hey, there weren't many tax day jokes yesterday. She said it was nothing to joke about. Hey, there we go. All right, back with your KAHI weather right after this. Doing Sunday, baby.
Join me for KAHI Swap Shop this Sunday morning at 8 o'clock. The KAHI Swap Shop. This and every Sunday morning starting at 8 here on FM 4.5. And 950 and KAHI.com, the voice of the foothills.
What do you say now? Because it's a nice day now. What do you do? All right, Timmy, you're up.
Tuesday weather forecast and mostly sunny skies. A nice day today around 70 and light southwest winds. Temperatures tonight will be around 50, mostly clear skies. Light winds will continue. Low 70s with sunshine, a few scattered clouds Wednesday. And mostly sunny Thursday and Friday. It'll stay about 70 to 75 each day, along with that spring sunshine continuing. This is your Altitude Timber from FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
On this Henry Mancini's birthday, we're just playing some Henry Mancini music. He was born on this day in 1924. If it's your birthday today, happy stinking birthday to you. Hey, heads up, the Kings are playing the Golden State Warriors tonight, and KAHI will be broadcasting that. Pregame is at 6:30 p.m., so make sure that you check out the Kings versus the Warriors tonight here on KAHI at 6:30 p.m. Did I say a.m.? It's 6:30 p.m. tonight on KAHI. We've got Kings basketball happening for you. Hey, if it's your birthday today, happy stinking birthday to you. I hope you have a fantastic day. It shapes up for what you what you want, what you need for today. Hey, don't forget also, speaking of programming, Mary Jane Pop is back. Catch Pop Talk in Search of Truth. That's going to be Saturdays from 5 to 7 a.m. and Sundays from 9 to 11 p.m. Mary Jane is back, and we are so excited about that. Hey, gang, until we meet again tomorrow morning, remember to be kind, be honest, be yourself, and remember, you can't hate somebody if you're hugging them. Have a fantastic rest of the day. I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Back now to America's First News.
Hey, good morning on this Tuesday, 34 minutes past the hour, and the 16th day of April. And Israel's military
That's how we do that. Kapow!
But he didn't elaborate on when and how. And how. As world leaders
All right, gang, I gotta run to go to film some stuff for the next job. So hope you have fun today. Have a great day. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you later.